Welcome back into another edition of Senior Spotlights. Today I'm joined by a face you may not recognize outside of a football helmet, but a birthday boy nonetheless, Jesse Cain. Welcome to your Senior Spotlight here as we're going through our spring graduates. Everybody knows you as the football player, so focusing more on the calm side of things during your 4 years here, growing from freshman to senior year. Obviously you've picked up a lot of things, but what brought you to Waynesburg?
Yeah, so I've had quite an unconventional path to Waynesburg and through Waynesburg as I picked up a double major later in my academic career here. But what really brought me to Waynesburg was the ability to get an education at a top communication program. I knew that's one of my goals, was to graduate from a good comm school and with the opportunity to progress in the field, and that's what Waynesburg does, setting you up with connections and resumes. So that was top of my list with education. Then also athletically, I was able to continue my athletic career here at Waynesburg, playing football, and I've been just blessed with all the opportunities Waynesburg's had to offer me. Wouldn't change my mind about coming here at any point in time. I've accepted and, been so thankful for Waynesburg with everything.
So looking back on your time a little bit, as I mentioned, you picked up quite a few roles during your time here. PRSSA, involved with the TV department as well. So looking at PRSSA, what is kind of like your duties that you've been doing there, and what led you into taking on the PR role?
Yeah, so I jumped into PRSSA around sophomore year. I'm not sure which semester it was, but I picked up a double major thanks to Professor Krause just being in my ear about joining public relations. And I'm so thankful for that because I see a lot of opportunities with public relations. And then I had the opportunity to be the president of the PRSSA chapter here at Waynesburg University. And it's just another leadership role. In any leadership role, it's all about getting your followers to do their work and delegate and achieve great things with the team. So, more of duties, it's really just leadership responsibilities. I have to run the chapter meetings and, make sure we're nominated and applied for certain awards and goals that we plan to succeed. We've had a couple campaigns that, we're coming to see fruition at the end of this semester and hoping those can win awards. So it's really just been a title and a figurehead, but the organization does all the work. And I've had great e-board and other members involved that, we've produced great newsletters and blogs and just a lot of work. And I'm thankful for that opportunity because I've been able to put a lot of that on my resume and portfolio and hoping to get some good jobs and connections for the future of my career.
And you've been involved a lot in sports, obviously being a football player, but also you're wearing the polo,
yes.
Waynesburg University Sports Network. During my time here, you've earned the right of having a camera named after you, that floor camera. Talk a little bit about your time with Woosen in terms of camera, truck work, or even the announcing side of things.
So when I got to Waynesburg, I knew I wanted to get into communication. I declared sports media announcing as my major. How can you turn down Lanny and all the opportunities of the knowledge that he gives you here? But getting involved in Woosen was really my first look at this is what I want to do. And it was a student-run production. I remember Jack Hillgrove was here. That entire senior class was so good at everything they did, and they were excited about it. And that excitement really, drew onto me and my class. And I had the opportunity to run the Camera 3. It's on the floor of the basketball productions. And that was when we got all the new equipment. Everyone was learning everything new. I know Jeremiah got on the slow-mo, and I'm sure he talked about that a little bit too. But yeah, Jack was producing that game or directing that game, and he really liked the shots I had. I was just going with, if I was watching this game on TV, what shots would I want to see? And the equipment was phenomenal, able to get a lot of clear shots. And then they just started naming that camera after me. And I've seen a lot of other people have better shots than me with that camera, but it's still great to be remembered, and it's almost a little legacy that's got a little more humor to it as well.
Right, so obviously you're involved big time camera work. You declared originally sports media. So on the announcing side of things, do you have any one specific game or maybe one specific call that you'll kind of remember during your time here at Waynesburg?
Yeah, so my favorite sport to do is basketball, and I wasn't too successful in my athletic basketball career, but I played freshman year of high school and I didn't get any points, and I was like, let's focus my attention on other places. But calling basketball, being involved in the basketball program here is awesome. I've been able to cover other sports such as like lacrosse, even volleyball, writing for the Yellow Jacket and some of these soccer. I like watching the soccer matches as well. Couldn't really be involved in the production of football, but we've been able to go to high schools and still got experience there. But a specific call or match, I don't really have anything that comes to mind. It's really just been the partnership with your associate commentators and announcers, and it's just the chemistry that you can build together. And there's been some great times I've had calling games with fellow students and classmates.
Yeah, so looking kind of more onto the professor side of things, you mentioned Professor Krause kind of breathing down your neck about picking up that double major, but what about the rest of the professors here? You mentioned Lanny Fratteri, Melinda Roeder. Just talk about how helpful the professors have been here at Waynesburg during your time.
The two you mentioned, Lanny, Professor Krause, Doug, you could go on, Professor Schiffbauer, they're all so influential, and I've learned so much from them, even with the adjuncts that we have come in for some of my PR classes and special events planning with Dr. Schaefer. It's just phenomenal teaching, phenomenal experience, and they get their experiences, or they teach from their experiences they've had, and that's the best knowledge you can gain. So it's not only what I've been able to learn in the classroom, it's also been the connections that they have had and being able to build that relationship outside of the classroom with them. I mean, I put a lot of them as references on my resume and for future careers. And I always tell some of the underclassmen, something I learned is it's not the class you take, it's the professor you take. And that's not trying to cheat out of grades or anything like that, but it's building that relationship with them. Because, I mean, let's be realistic. They're not going to necessarily look at your GPA when you go to get into a job. They're going to say, what have you done? Who do you know? And I feel like Waynesburg's just prepared me for that.
Right, and you mentioned about people you know, things you've done. You had an internship with the Wild Things. Your presentation, you deemed yourself as that joker, the jack of all trades. Talk a little bit about your internship. You know, Kyle Dawson was there, a former Waynesburg student as well. What was the atmosphere like working with a bunch of your fellow friends that you're usually with during the school year here? Yeah,
so there was a lot of Waynesburg students there. Kyle Dawson is a Waynesburg alum as well, and that's really where the pipeline and the connection works with the Washington Wild Things. And we have a lot of those alumni all over the area here. It's why it's a great area to be involved with, not only sports, but all the Waynesburg connections. But it was great to see those friendly faces just about every day. I mean, Jeremiah and I, we carpooled because I was living in Waynesburg, and he obviously commutes from his home, and he just had to come through Waynesburg. So he would drive sometimes, I would drive sometimes, and we'd knock out 6-7 hours of our day watching Wild Things baseball, and it was just a great experience. I wasn't the biggest fan of baseball coming in here. I only played like 1 year athletically and really didn't cover or follow the sport that much, but I've grown to love baseball because of my time involved in it, and it's such a different sport. It's slower, it's more like a pastime, and I enjoyed the piece that came with that. But also got to meet new faces from IUP and Pittsburgh. There's a lot of different students from other schools, and that's kind of what drew on the connection and chemistry of meeting other people that you're going to have in the workplace. And I feel like all those experiences are just propelling me for my future career.
You mentioned one name, Jeremiah Miller. Obviously, you guys have been pretty much brothers to the point of being here at Waynesburg, and the connections here at Waynesburg with everyone on the fourth floor. We deem ourselves as essentially a family. What kind of makes Waynesburg different in terms of that aspect, having this family on the fourth floor?
Family's everything, and especially when you're close and you're not blood. Like, you don't get to choose your brothers. I have 2 brothers. You don't get to choose your brothers or your parents, but you get to choose your friends. And a lot of the times you connect on a lot more things with them. You have similar interests and similar opinions about things. And I don't really agree with everyone on the fourth floor, but that's what makes it family, because you still have to work together and get things done, and you can't let, opinions or beliefs get in the way of work. But that being said, I've made a lot of great friends, and you talked about Jeremiah. I went a whole week on a Florida trip with Joe Vinzel covering the baseball team. And, we didn't get to choose who we went with, but it was just the opportunity that was given to us. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. I got to know Joe a lot better, had great conversation. And like, if I would have went with you, I'm sure we would have had the same experiences. And that's just the great thing about the fourth floor of Buell and the communication department is everyone is friendly. Everyone has their expertise, and that's what makes this program so great, is everyone comes together to get the job done, and you have fun while doing it.
And one final question, Jesse. What is Jesse Cain's future looking like once you walk across that stage in May?
Well, I'm hoping to have a job secured by then. I've been doing a job search, and probably by the time this gets uploaded, I'll have a couple more interviews that go through, and it's just finding the right fit for me. And it doesn't have to be about the money. It doesn't have to be about getting right into a big time position. I'm willing to work my way up there, and that's just symbolism of what Waynesburg has been. I came on a visit to Waynesburg. It was the right fit for me. I had D2 offers. I had other places where I could go to school, somewhere even cheaper than Waynesburg, but Waynesburg was just the best all-around fit. Fell in love with the campus, the community, and the faculty here. I met Professor Krause on my football visit, and everything I fell in love with, and I'm hoping that that can translate, and I just find the right fit for a future job. And like I said, it doesn't have to be financially the best. It doesn't have to be the best community. It doesn't have to be the best at anything. I think the combination of it will feel right, and I'll get involved and then just continue to grow. And Waynesburg's theme is grow. And I believe that Waynesburg has taught me so much that I can translate all of these key messages I've learned at the university to my future, and especially if I get in other leadership roles, just translate the brand that I've been taught down through the ranks of whatever I'm in the lead of next. So it's exciting.
Well, thank you very much, Jesse, for joining me. I've been able to sit beside you the past 3 years, and I've seen you grow a lot, especially, so I'm excited to see what you do in the future here. And also, a final happy birthday wish for you. That's all we have for Jesse Cain's Senior Spotlight, but stay tuned to the WCTV YouTube page for plenty more of our spring graduates.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.